We're going to be starting in a couple of minutes. I'm going to ask if you have any testimony to give that you signed the sign-in sheet
A lot of people downstairs.
at the table.
We have a line. People to check. There's a lot of people coming in.
I'd like to welcome everybody here tonight to this Committee on Ordinance public hearing. It's November 16th, 2022, 5 o'clock. I'm Councilman Nick Narducci. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Chairman Narducci,
Here.
Vice Chairwoman Castillo, Councilwoman Harris, Councilor Miller, Councilman Espinal.
Present.
You have 5 present and none absent. You have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Excuse me. At this time, can I have a motion to take item number 7 out of order, please? Motion made by Councilwoman Harris, seconded by Councilman Castillo. All in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. At this time, we have a letter of testimony. Can I have a motion to accept this as Exhibit 7A, please?
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Castillo, seconded by Councilman Harris. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Can I have a motion to continue item number 7 till March 29th, 2023?
So move.
Motion made by Councilwoman Harris,
Second.
seconded by Councilman Castillo. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay. Madam Clerk, would you please read item number 1 into the record?
Item number 1 is a petition from John J. Garahy Esquire, John J. Garahy Law LLC, 2088 Broad Street, Cranston, Rhode Island, 02905, requesting a zone change for the property located on Assessors Plat 62, lots 429 and 431, 154 and 164 Delane Street from R3 to MMU 75.
Mr. Gary? Oh, Bobby, he's on. Sorry about that, Bobby. I should do that now. Excuse me, Bobby, before you start, can I have a motion to accept a letter of testimony as Exhibit 1A, please? It's a CDC letter. As
So move, Mr. Chair.
motion made by Councilwoman Harris, seconded by Councilman Castillo. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Bobby Azar, would you please state your name and your position for the record?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Robert Azar, Deputy Director, Department of Planning and Development. This is a zone change for 2 lots on Delane Street, very close to Manton Avenue in the Olneyville section. They contain a couple of buildings that have been used for group quarters, not in conformance with the existing zoning. The petitioner is interested in doing some renovation to these buildings and to improve them for continued use as group quarters. So this zoning change would make the property conforming such that they could do this work. The original petition was to change this to MMU because there was a neighboring MMU zone. We suggest, however, that the zoning change should be to C2, which is a neighboring zone as well, but that would make the group quarters allowed by right rather than special use permit. So it would save the petitioners a step of having to go to the zoning board. I believe the petitioner is amenable to this, and I believe that there's a proposed substitution for this. Mr. Garrahy can speak on that. But the CPC letter references this, and their recommendation is that you make this change to C2, finding it to be in conformance with the city's comprehensive plan and the purposes of zoning.
Thank you, Bobby. Mr. Gary? If you would just please state your name and your position for the record, please.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, John Garrahy on behalf of YWCA Rhode Island. So as Bob indicated, this is a zone change in order to make what's there conforming, essentially. It's veteran housing, 50 units. That's going to be new and improved. No change to the existing use. Mr. Chairman, as you may know, when there are changes to a non-conforming use, they're not allowed. There's an expansion of that type of thing. So this would allow them to expand and make the veterans housing there permitted by right. As Bob has indicated, the CPC had recommended the zone change to C2 rather than MMU 75. And I'm prepared, based on the testimony at this hearing, to submit an amendment that allows for that purpose, if I may, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chairman, the executive director of the YWCA is here, Deborah Perry. She's going to present testimony, so I'm going to allow her to present quickly the organizational's purpose and intent with respect to this. And Christine West, the architect of the project, is here and will do likewise. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. When you step up to the podium, if you would just state your name and your position for the record, please.
Good evening, Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Deborah Perry. I'm President and CEO of YWCA Rhode Island. I'd just like to give you a little bit of a background about our organization and our history in the city of Providence. We've been in the city of Providence since 1867. That's 155 years. We were originally established to welcome women who are coming to Providence to work in the city. We established a house on North Main Street for that purpose, so women had a place to reside. Since that time, we've been operating the Nickerson YWCA Community Center. It's an 18,000 square foot facility where we serve early childhood parents and their children, after school programming. We have community members in the facility, and we also have some artist residents. In addition, on Delane Street, we have a group headquarters for veterans. That facility has been in operation for the past 20 years, since 1998. The YWCA took that facility over from the Nickerson Community Center in 2015. We've received numerous awards for our operations and work with veterans, including the 2015 Citizens Bank Community Award. So I appreciate your consideration of this request, and I appreciate the work we've been able to do in the city. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm assuming you're the architect.
Yes, Christine West, principal and architect at Kite Architects.
Thank you.
Good evening, Chairman and members of the committee. I can tell you just a little bit about the renovation of these two structures on these lots. Essentially, the number of residents in these two buildings is unchanged. Currently, one of the buildings has group bunk beds and a shared congregate bath. The other building has a number of shared apartments. I believe it's about 4 men to each apartment. We are making these changes in order to provide each and every veteran their own private bedroom, their own private bathroom. This is spurred, of course, by COVID and hygiene concerns, but it's also a more dignified and more supportive environment. The improvements will be entirely interior as far as the footprint goes. We will be making minor modifications to the roof line of one building, but otherwise there is no change fundamentally to the footprint of the structure. There's no increase in number of residents. There's really no change of use per se, but we do need this zoning to make the structures conforming and make the interior adjustments. And I do have plans if you would like them. Know if it's appropriate to submit them, but we do have them available for inspection.
Thank you. Any questions at this time for any of my committee members? Councilwoman Harris.
I would like, did you mention how many occupants you have?
Yes, there are 50 total
50 total?
between the two buildings, yes.
Yeah, and you said that you've been in existence since 1998?
Yes, that's what Ms. Perry
Okay.
has said, yes.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much.
Any questions?
At this time, can I get a motion to accept the site plans as Exhibit 1B, please?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Costello, seconded by Councilwoman Harris. All in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Madam Clerk. Can I have a motion to accept as amended item number 1? Yeah, well, I thought they knew that. By changing it from R3 to C2.
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Costello, seconded by Councilwoman Harris. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Madam Clerk, would you like the amendment? Madam Clerk, at this time, would you please read item number 2 into the record? We could do more at once. And at this time, we're going to close the testimony for item number 1. Madam Clerk, would you please read item number 2 into the record?
Item number 2 is a petition from Jabril Bamgabala, Care First Transportation, 702 Douglas Avenue, Providence, Rhode Island, 02908, requesting a zone change for the property located on Assessors Plat 123, lots 30 and 31, 722 and 730 Douglas Avenue from R2 to C1.
At this time, can I get a motion to accept a letter from the CPC as Exhibit 2A, please?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Motion made by Councilwoman Harris, seconded by Councilwoman Costello. All in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Bobby Azar.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This property is currently zoned R2. It's on Douglas Avenue, however, which is a major commercial corridor. It does have some pockets of residential, but for the most part, it is a mixed-use corridor. It's adjacent to a C1 zone. The petitioner owns property in the C1 zone adjacent to these 2 lots. And the 2 lots are currently vacant. The petitioner is interested in using the property for commercial and residential purposes, which would not be allowed. The commercial purposes would not be allowed in the R2 zone. So they have filed this petition, and given the location on Douglas Avenue and its proximity to the C1 zone, the City Plan Commission felt that this would be an appropriate zoning change. They have seen a schematic of a mixed-use building that the petitioners have proposed for the property. So they found this zoning petition to be consistent with the city's comprehensive plan and the purposes of zoning, and they have recommended that the council change the lots to C1. There is a condition in there that they recommend about the applicants reconfiguring the lots. That should not be a condition of the zoning change. That's more a condition for City Plan Commission approval of a subdivision. So that would not have to follow through in their opinion.
Any questions for Bobby at this time from the committee? Thank you, Bobby. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on this matter, Sarge? Young man, did you? Sorry? Step right up. Just your name and your position for the record, please.
My name is Jubril Bambala, and I'm the president of Care Force Transportation. I have the surveyor for Bob. I brought that here today to give to him. So I don't know if you guys need anything else after that. I'm all set. I don't need.
No, that you can actually give that to Bobby after.
I'll do that.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck. Can I have a motion to close item number 2 on the public hearing? Motion made by Councilman Costello, seconded by Councilman Harris. All in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Hang on 1 second. Madam Clerk, would you please, excuse me, read item number 3 into the record?
Item number 3 is a petition from Kelly Morris Salvatore Esquire on behalf of Shamrock Partners LLC, Kingdom Capital LLC, and John E. O'Rourke Jr., requesting a zone change for the property located on Assessor's Plat 119, lots 101, 232, and 287, 472, 480, and 483 Douglas Avenue from R3 to C2.
Can I have a motion to accept the letter from the CPC as Exhibit 3A, please? Motion made by Councilman Costello, seconded by Councilman Harris. All in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Bobby Azar. Might as well just sit there, Bobby.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Okay, so this one is also on Douglas Avenue, a little down the road. As I mentioned, Douglas is a corridor that has a mix of residential and commercial uses. In this case, these 3 pieces of property are all occupied by buildings that have commercial uses or have had commercial uses in them. A lot of times you see these commercial uses were established by variance many decades ago in some cases. These days, rather than a variance, the proper procedure for legalizing a commercial use or allowing a commercial use would be to change the zoning. In this case, we have all these lots are occupied by commercial buildings. One is a bar, one is a former auto service business, and the other one is a vacant industrial building. The bar is in operation. They wish to expand into the former auto service business. And then the vacant industrial building, my understanding is the petitioners intend to renovate that for a variety of commercial uses. These properties are in the vicinity of a C2 zone along this commercial corridor. It's our opinion and that of the City Plan Commission that C2 is the appropriate zoning for these properties, and therefore the CPC voted to recommend that you approve the zoning change to C2, finding it consistent with the comprehensive plan and the purposes of zoning.
Any questions for Bobby? Thank you, Bob. Would you please come up, state your name for the record and your position?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Kelly Morris Salvatore, attorney for Shamrock Partners LLC, Kingdom Capital LLC, and John E. O'Rourke. Mr. Azar did a great job saying everything that I would have said to you. As he said, on the east side of the road, the west side of the road, they're currently operating the Old Irish Social Club, a very small social club that they want to expand to the space next door, which was used for an auto repair shop. Across the street, there's a very large vacant commercial building, and they would like to be able to tenant those with appropriate uses which they can't do in the R3 zone. I also wanted to add that my client has received a letter. I don't know if the ordinance subcommittee actually has a copy of this letter. If they don't, I'd like to enter it into the record, where the neighboring property owner at 444, 460 Douglas Avenue is renting them 80 spaces for parking. They also have the parking behind the large building on the east side of Douglas Avenue.
I could, as we discussed, that was a main concern of mine. That's in my ward. And the side streets that surround them, that particular area, are all very narrow to where we would try to eliminate any parking on the street, especially double-sided parking, because if an emergency vehicle ever had to get by, it would never happen. So I'm glad that Jack was able to work this parking situation out.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
You have a
you-
copy of this?
No,
Mr.
we
Chairman?
don't.
Do you want, can I?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can I have a motion to accept as Exhibit 3B? Motion made by Councilman Costello, seconded by Councilwoman Harris. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I have a motion to close item number 3 in the public hearing? Motion made by Councilwoman Harris, seconded by Councilman Costello. All in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Madam Clerk, would you please read item number 4 into the record?
Item number 4 is a petition from John J. Garrahy Esquire, John J. Garrahy Law LLC, 2088 Broad Street, Cranston, Rhode Island, 02905, on behalf of the Itlo American Club of Rhode Island, requesting a zone change for the property located on Assessor's Plat 33, lots 527, 310, and 309, 152 Grove Street, and 477 and 485 Broadway from RP to C3.
Sorry to call remote for water. Before we get Bob up here, I have a letter from the CPC that I would like to have a motion to accept as Exhibit 4A. Motion made by Councilman Costello, seconded by Councilwoman Harris. So all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. I also have some letters of testimony that I would like to put into the record as Exhibit 4B.
So moved.
Made by Councilman Harris, seconded by Councilman Costello. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Bob Azar.
Mr. Chair, this petition by the Italo American Club would be a change to the zoning map to the C3 zone. C3 is a heavy commercial zone that allows things like auto repair, auto sales, gas stations and the like. The Italo American Club currently is in the residential professional zone, which is a zone that's intended for the reuse of historic large residential structures to allow for a certain degree of commercial use. The City Plan Commission found that a zoning change to R3 would not be appropriate given what R3 allows and given that it would be inconsistent with the comprehensive plan's future land use map. However, it's our understanding that the petitioner is requesting this change in order to allow for live entertainment within the Italo American Club. Live entertainment is not allowed in the RP zone. In fact, it's not allowed in the C1 or the C2 zone unless it's what we call incidental entertainment. Incidental entertainment is unamplified live music played by no more than 3 musicians, no dancing, no strobe lights, none of that sort of thing. So the staff of the planning department and the CPC felt that rather than change the zoning for this particular parcel of land so that they can have live entertainment, we think that it may be an appropriate time to reopen the discussion about entertainment, where entertainment is allowed, what the character of entertainment is. If it's incidental entertainment, what would be allowed under the umbrella of incidental entertainment. So with that, the City Plan Commission is recommending that the City Council should work with us to amend the definition of incidental entertainment to allow for moderately amplified live music, such as would be appropriate in a venue like this.
Any questions for Bob on this particular matter? Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Mr. Gary?
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, John Garrahy on behalf of Itlo American Club of Rhode Island. I think Bob explained it pretty well. After we submitted the petition, the reason for the petition was to allow a singer outside during the summertime. I mean, I know this seems like it's going a long way to accomplish that purpose, but as Bob indicated, entertainment is not allowed in the RP zone. Therefore, we tried to find a method in which to do that. After we submitted it, we've had conversations with some of the neighbors and Councilwoman, and I think Bob is right. So we're going to ask that this matter be continued. We're going to work with the planning department and with the council to try to come up with some solution to allow them to have very, very limited entertainment there and not effectuate the zone change to accomplish that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee.
Thank you, sir. So with that being said, Michelle Paolino. Just state your name and your position for the record.
Mike Poliano, and I'm opposed to any kind of zoning change. I'm a little nervous, so you're gonna have to
Don't be nervous.
bear with me. I have an affidavit that I wrote out, and I gave it to Sean. And I'd like to read it to be put in the record, so you'll know just what our neighborhood has been going through. It sounds like it's just 2 or 3 people singing in the community, people eating and having a good time, but it doesn't turn out that way. So let me read this to you, so you'll get more of an understanding. It's only 2 pages long. I'm not a public speaker, and I'm not a lawyer. I am just a concerned citizen who values the rights and liberties of the average person to live peacefully in their own neighborhood without anyone or any establishment coming in demanding a zoning change that would adversely affect the peace, security, and quality of life of that neighborhood, and doing so without any consideration for all those who live close by. The Itlo American Club has been trying for the past 2 years to force outdoor entertainment on our neighborhood, creating a lot of undue stress and worry. I will describe some of their efforts to give you an idea of what our neighborhood has been subjected to. Their first attempt was to secure live outdoor entertainment, and they did that by applying for a temporary entertainment license. This, in effect, gave them the legal right to have outside entertainment without any notification to their neighbors. Once this license was secured, they hired a music band for their nightly entertainment. Their music was amplified so loud that my wife and I could not hear our TV properly, even with the windows shut. We immediately left our house and videotaped the band. We then spoke to the owner of the restaurant about the noise with no success at all. The next day, we went to the licensing board and did our own researching. We next decided to create a petition and canvass only the neighbors who abut the Italo American Club. We received overwhelming support. We submitted our petition, which I have here, to the licensing board and put a stop to their first attempt. Their next attempt was to play amplified music on their outside porch without an entertainment license. Again, the noise level was unacceptable. This led to another trip to the licensing board. However, this attempt also necessitated a call to the police department in order to get them to finally stop the music. What is also involved here is just not the noise pollution, which is concern enough, but the amount of traffic and security risk outside entertainment brings to an area. We have an incredible street, to have an incredible street like Broadway be brought down to such a commercial level that exists on Atwells Avenue would be such a black eye to the city of Providence. Now, their final attempt was to change the zoning from RP to C3. This would, in my opinion, be a disaster for Broadway and an exodus for many people living on Broadway, which would include myself. I live across the street from the Italo American Club, and I put a lot into my properties. And it caused a renaissance on the block and in back. So there should be some concern for that. So to cite the City of Providence zoning ordinance uses manual, C3 heavy commercial district accommodates areas of intense commercial use that are generally not appropriate for a lower intensity commercial district. Knowing that, I next walked Broadway from Barton Street to Cortlandt Street. I also walked Toby Street, Grove Street, Spencer Street, Almy Street, and Bell Street. These streets are either on the periphery of the Italo American Club or within earshot of the music. My intention was to ascertain the percentage of residential to business dwellings. For residential, I included apartments, houses, churches. For business, I included professional office, mom and pop stores, and
Excuse me.
convenience stores.
Can I ask that you kind of try to wrap it up a little bit?
Excuse me?
If you can wrap it up a little bit.
One more.
Okay, thank you.
One more. The results were overwhelming. The residential unit outpaced commercial 182 to 27, or a percentage of 87%. I have that in a statement. Next, we researched to see where the closest C3 zoning was and found that the closest ones were located at Silver Spring Avenue, Branch Avenue, Manton Avenue, all of them over a mile away. In conclusion, the Italo American Club is a nonprofit organization that is exempt from paying any property taxes to the city of Providence. That being said, they should, in all decency, be more concerned with ensuring the quality of life of their neighbors than filling the coffers of a restaurant. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey. Stephen Kane. If you could just state your name and your position for the record, please.
Yeah, I'm Dr. Stephen Kane. I live at 451 Broadway, have for 23 years. That's 3 doors down from the Italo American Club. I've heard the words entertainment, singer, and it sounds so benign, like a Perry Como singing quietly, going from table to table, right? Or a Hungarian violinist going from table to table. That's not the case. I mean, the kind of music they've been playing is frankly unbearable. It's an auditory assault. We can't sit on our side porch. And as Mike just said, when I'm further down, trying to watch a movie on our television set, we have to shut the windows because the music is so loud. So it's not really just a singer holding forth with ballads. People drink, they drink heavily, as they say, a warm summer night. And the more they drink, the more raucous they get. And the singer, I use that term somewhat loosely, must be someone's brother-in-law in the club. In any case, it gets louder and louder, and it begins to take on the sensible, almost like a political rally or something like that, rather than just entertainment that would actually fit into this neighborhood. So the idea of C3, heavy commercial, of course, it seems like everyone is unanimous about that. That's simply ridiculous. I don't see how anyone could seriously suggest that. So again, my principal reason for being up here is to convey the idea that this is not simply entertainment or a singer. And by the way, it is amplified, right? I think I heard someone say unamplified. No, this is amplified and profoundly so. So I can't really add anything to that. It is really a burden when they start playing that music. Thank you.
Thank you. At this point in time, I'm going to ask for a motion to continue this matter indefinitely. Motion made by
Second.
Councilman Castillo, seconded by Councilwoman Harris. All in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Madam Clerk, at this time, would you please read item number 5 into the record?
Item number 5 is a petition from Kelly Morris Salvatore Esquire on behalf of Asian Properties LLC, requesting a zone change for the property located on Assessors Plat 126, Lot 276, 241 Reservoir Avenue from C1 to C2.
I have a letter here from the CPC that I'd like to put a motion out for Exhibit 5A, please. Motion made by Councilwoman Harris, seconded by Councilman Castillo. All in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Bobby Azar.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This property on Reservoir Avenue is currently zoned commercial. It's zoned C1. And it's our understanding that the applicant, the petitioner, is interested in building out an existing commercial space for a liquor store. Liquor stores are not allowed in the C1 zone. They are allowed in the C2 zone. This is in an area that the city's comprehensive plan describes as intended for neighborhood commercial and mixed use. That's a designation that that is broad enough to accommodate either the C1 or the C2 zone. This is a stretch of Reservoir Avenue that's pretty heavily commercial in nature, and the CPC found that given the built environment and the way that this commercial plaza is set up, that it would be appropriate for the proposed use, and that the C2 zone would be appropriate and consistent with the neighborhood character and with the comprehensive plan. So therefore, they recommended that you go ahead with the zoning change to C2.
Any questions from the committee to Bobby? Thank you again, Bob. Just again, please state your name and your position for the record.
Good evening again, Mr. Chairman. Kelly Morris Salvatore, on behalf of Asian Properties LLC. Again, Bob did a great job explaining our request to you. The lot measures over 20,000 square feet. It currently includes a grocer and a seafood market. And as Mr. Azar stated, my client is seeking a Class A liquor license that we hope to obtain within the next several months. We want to be ready for that. And given the mix of uses in the vicinity and the size of the subject building, as the CPC opined, the C2 zone is an appropriate zoning designation for this property.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any questions from the committee? Hearing none. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I have a motion to close item number 5? Motion made by Councilman Harris, seconded by Councilman Costello. All in favor? Opposed? I think I said that one a little backwards, but. Enough, none. That sounds good, huh? A supermarket, a liquor store, and a restaurant. Now I'm hungry and thirsty. Before we start on item number 6, what I'm going to ask, because obviously we have a lot of people here that want to speak on this particular item. The petitioner and the developers, we give them their speaking. What I'm going to ask is that anybody else that's here to speak either for or against, we're going to limit you to 2 minutes. If you're in a group and one person out of your group can speak, that'd be great. If you already hear somebody else saying the same thing you were going to say, and you don't want to come up and repeat it, I don't have a problem with that. So we're going to just try to get through this as quickly as possible. Thank you. With that being said, Madam Clerk, would you please read item number 6 into the record?
Item number 6 is a petition from Smart Princeton Hotel Group LLC as petitioner and 217 Angel Investments LLC as owners of the properties, requesting a zone change for the property located on Assessor's Plat 13, lots 52, 53, and 55, 209 to 217 Angel Street, from RP to C2.
At this time, I have letters of testimony that I would like to have as Exhibit 6A. Motion, please. Motion made by Councilman Costello, seconded by Councilwoman Harris. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Also, we have responsive documents from the attorney. I love my clerks. As Exhibit 6B, can I have a motion, please? Motion made by Councilman Costello, seconded by Councilwoman Harris. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. And just before we go on, I'd like to really thank our clerks because the work they do for us is incredible. And there's 15 of us. There's not 1 or 2 of us. And not only do they handle every committee out there, but also the city council meetings. Thank you, girls. Thank you. And I've had a 16-year relationship with a lot of these girls. We've seen our kids grow up. We've seen our grandkids come into the picture. Miss Capaldi over here, her brothers all played football for me when they were 7, 8, and 9 years old. So it's kind of like a nice, big, happy family that I'm going to be very sad to have to be leaving at the end of December. So thank you again, girls. Would you please, we already did all that. Okay, Bobby Azar.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to give you hopefully a very brief synopsis of how this petition got to where it is. It's a little bit complicated, but I hope I can make this as simple as possible. In the spring of 2020, the petitioner filed with the planning department an application for a land development project to build a hotel. At the same time, they filed a petition for a zoning change because currently the zone is RP. Hotels are not allowed in RP. They asked for a change to C2. When you have a land development project, which is what they filed for, it's a sizable development project, under state law, the rule says that if a land development project also requires a zoning change, the project has to come to the City Plan Commission for approval of the first stage of development. That's called master plan. At the same time, the City Plan Commission approves the master plan. They make a recommendation to the council on the zoning change. Then the applicant comes to the council, asks for the zoning change. If they get the zoning change, they come back to the City Plan Commission to get what's called preliminary and ultimately final plan. City Plan Commission reviewed the land development project and approved it on June 30th of 2020. That was the master plan. Soon thereafter, in conjunction with that, they also recommended the zone change to this body. Okay, so they were following that, what we call precedence of approvals, which is outlined in state law. Neighbors appealed the decision of the City Plan Commission. The zoning board is the appeals body for whenever there are appeals filed with the City Plan Commission. The zoning board reviewed the appeal and they reversed the City Plan Commission's decision in part and upheld it in part. That decision was October 14th of 2020. Because the zoning board reversed the City Plan Commission's decision in part, our interpretation is that the master plan approval is dead. There's no longer a master plan approval. When they overturned the decision, the zoning board, yeah.
Can I have anybody that's in the chambers to please be seated? Thank you. Sorry, Bob.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The zoning board, in overturning the decision, in part remanded it to the City Plan Commission for further deliberation and a new decision. The applicant did not request to come back to the CPC. Shortly after the zoning board voted to make its decision, the attorney for the applicant requested that this body continue the zoning change indefinitely. And you did that. September 15th, you continued the zoning change petition indefinitely. My understanding is that when you continue a matter indefinitely, that it's off your docket and no longer exists. The master plan decision from the zoning board, the appeal, was further appealed to Superior Court by both sides, the applicant and the opponents. It has never made it to a hearing. Neither side has pursued the matter at Superior Court, so that matter is dormant. It's been dormant for a couple of years now. As I mentioned, our opinion is that there is no master plan approval for this project. Even if there was, vesting of a master plan is good for 2 years. 2 years has passed. So even if there was a vested approval, the approval has expired. So from our perspective, there's no master plan pending at the City Plan Commission. And because of this law that says there's a precedence of approval, there's no recommendation, even though the City Plan Commission had issued a recommendation, there's no longer a recommendation to you on the zoning change. Most recently, the petitioner came back to you in September of this year, filed a new petition for a zoning change. It's our opinion that that has to come back to the City Plan Commission for a recommendation, and that recommendation has to be in conjunction with an application for master plan. We don't have an application for a master plan in front of us. So it's our opinion that this petition to change the zoning is not properly in front of the council right now. It can only come to you for a hearing after the City Plan Commission makes its recommendation on the zoning change, and that zoning change can only happen in conjunction with their consideration of a master plan. So I just wanted to lay that out. I hope that sets the stage for this, for the rest of this hearing.
Well, I would ask, excuse me, Bobby, I would ask a opinion from the law department. If you would step up to the mic and just state your name and your position, please.
Mr. Chair, it was not my intention to give an opinion tonight, but I do agree with Mr. Azar. This needs to be resolved by the Superior Court before it is properly before this board. I don't believe that the board has, that this council, I don't believe that the committee has jurisdiction to entertain it at this time. And that's purely based on application of the state law and nothing else.
So let me just clear my own head and maybe my committees. We should not even be hearing this tonight in front of us. Is that what you're stating?
I'm saying you have no authority to act, to vote. If the committee wishes to hear public comment,
Well,
it may. I'm not restraining, I'm not asking that you not hear the public. I'm saying you have no jurisdiction, in my opinion, to vote or act.
well, if that's the case, then not to sound cruel to anybody that's here, but I mean, everybody's time is valuable.
I agree.
So to sit here and take 2 hours of testimony on something that next week we can't bring before my committee and vote to pass it out of committee is,
I agree with you. I'm just being respectful, and I leave that to you as chair to determine whether or not you do want to take that time.
I think I'd like to take a minute recess. Can I have my committee members up here, please? Madam Clerk. This item right now, what we're discussing is our rights. If we're being told by the law department, we cannot vote on this particular item because of what Mr. Azar said about this still being in the Supreme Court. And I do apologize about not being able to take any testimony at this time for this particular matter. I think the motion is going to be to continue this item indefinitely to get everybody back on the same page and to make sure because I've been doing this for 16 years. I never got in any legal trouble before, and I don't want to start now. I'm 3 weeks away from retirement. I don't want to start now. But I do really want to apologize because I know this is not the easiest place to come to try to find parking spots. I commend each and every one of you that are here that wanted to be involved in giving a testimony to what you think is right and fair or not fair. So with that being said, I would ask for a motion to continue item number 6 indefinitely.
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Harris, seconded by Councilwoman Castillo. Excuse me. All in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. At this point in time, can I have a motion to take item number 6 off, out of public hearing? Motion was made by Councilwoman Harris, seconded by Councilwoman Castillo. All in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Madam Clerk, no other business. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn by Councilwoman Castillo, Councilwoman Harris, Pro Tem Espinal, and Councilor Middle. All in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it.
How is that possible for them to get back in here?
Get this far.